Hello everyone and welcome to the Social Media Mixer. My name is Stacy Kinney and tonight we're going to be talking about generating content and ideas for your blog. Now this presentation is brought to you by myBrandingSystem.com, which I am very excited to be affiliated with. It's a big part of what I do in teaching people the online branding and building their presence. It's just a great system to help you streamline all of that in your social media. So very excited to be affiliated with My Branding System. I know I have some of you folks on the call tonight, so I think you're really going to enjoy this. And for those of you that are tuning in for the first time, let's go ahead and get started and talk about some of these ideas and what you can do to generate content for your blog. Now, content is king. I'm sure you've heard that. People use the internet for many reasons, really. You know, you're looking for information, you could be shopping online, you're looking for a definition, just any type of thing, or maybe you want to disseminate information. Maybe it's purely for entertainment reasons, or maybe you're looking for a way to make money. It could even be just for that community, and that's where social media plays a big role. Now, to attract prospects to your blog, it should be filled with content that fulfills their needs. Good content also attracts attention from others in your industry. So content written the right way will be linked to which will improve your standing in the search engines. Well-written content is shared on social media sites, attracting followers and extending the reach of your brand. Now, I personally have this happen quite a lot. I have content and blog posts that I put out there, and my social circles will share that. They'll retweet it, they'll share it on Facebook, and that's what you really want to have happen, to share that in your network and have people sharing it out there. As a matter of fact, the other day I had a person contact me from someone from high school who said, "Look, I was told you were the person to contact about branding and social media." I hadn't even talked to this person in years, but they had been paying attention to Facebook and some of the things that I was putting out there, and they said, "Hey, that's Stacy Kinney right there." So that's a prime example of what you can do to get your message out and extend your brand. Now, getting content for your blog. Okay, this seems to be the big question. Oh my gosh, where am I going to find it? I don't have time, all that stuff. So the content is going to include articles, okay, which either you can write and you can get from other sources, and we're going to go through that tonight. You can also post videos from YouTube. Maybe those are other people's videos that you find fascinating. Maybe it's a motivational video, it's inspirational, and you just want to post that and write a quick paragraph about it. I do that every now and then as well. Maybe it's a video that you make. And for those of you affiliated with My Branding System, you have a great technology with your webcam on your blog to do this very quickly and easily. Now, you've also got the option to do audio, which is referred to as podcasting in this whole blogging world here, for those of you that are new. Graphics or infographics, so you can put pictures, and pictures can really tell a story as well. In this webinar, we're going to be really focused on the written content, the articles, you know, the meat of that value, that message, and what you're putting out there. Now, you can get articles from a number of places. You can write them yourself. You can get article directories like eZine Articles or ArticleBase. So what these are actually directories where they've given the okay for you to go and repost these articles as long as you do it in its entirety. And I'm going to share that with you a little bit later as well. You can get freelance writers. You can get guest bloggers. I actually have people who guest blog for me and vice versa sometimes. There's private label content, and then you can republish content from other websites with permission. And all of these things I'm going to go into with much more detail. So writing your own articles. The benefits of writing your own articles is, you know, they are yours. They have your name on it. You can do as you please. You can manipulate it, say whatever you like. People appreciate hearing your thoughts in your own words. It's free. It only costs an investment of your time. You know, however, it can be time consuming, especially if you have no previous experience. So you should have a good grasp of grammar and spelling, otherwise you could come off sounding unprofessional or uneducated, even if you have a college degree. So this is very important when writing your own articles. Now, what are some of the steps involved in writing your own articles? Well, probably the first thing you're going to want to do is sit down and brainstorm what these topics might be. What is consistent with your brand and your message. For somebody like me, I'm trying to teach about personal branding and social media and tips and tools and things that I find on Twitter or Facebook, kind of the latest and greatest. If you're a real estate agent, then you might want to think of some home selling tips and staging tips, different things that could really help a seller maybe get ready for the sale of their home and how they're going to show that. So it really just depends on what your message is, but sit down and brainstorm. And then your next step is going to be keyword research. And the reason that this is, fairly important is if you're writing all this great content, wouldn't it be really great if people actually found it? And that's kind of the point. So if you have people going out on Google and they're searching with different keywords, they might actually come across your site. And that's just a new prospect, a new potential lead, and it's your target market. Now, if you can, try, I still work at this myself, writing those attention-grabbing headlines. But at the same point, you want to be cognizant of the keyword in that headline, but definitely something that's going to make you want to click on it and read. Writing the article, and then article SEO. And for those newbies on the phone, SEO is search engine optimization. That's what I was talking about, where people can actually find you through a keyword, maybe through Google, Yahoo, Bing, something like that. So we're going to talk about that. So where to get article ideas? Well, they are absolutely everywhere, even though you think that they're not. You just have to keep your eyes open. So where can you find some of this inspiration? Well, first and foremost, you can just look at your own life experience. I don't know about you guys, but I have so many amazing experiences, funny experiences, my kids, you name it, all the kinds of things that you can imagine. So you can pull from your life experience. Then you want to really think about your target market. What are they asking for? And if you've been on some of my past webinars, then we've talked about target marketing. Remember, not everyone is your customer, but you do have a base of people, a target market. They're actually looking for what you have, your service or your product, but you just have to target the right person. So what are they looking for? What do they want to know? You really need to define who that target market is and get in their mind and think about what would they be searching for? What is their problem? And how are you going to offer that solution to their problem? Reader submitted questions. This is great. You have people reading your blog and maybe they're submitting questions. Those are going to give you ideas and article topics. Blog comments, the same thing. If they're commenting on your blog, you can get ideas and draw from that. You can get ideas from other blogs and news sites. Check out your competition. See what other people are writing about and what they're doing. Current events, social media sites, trending topics on Twitter, etc. Even if you're not this social media person and you don't have that brand like I do, it can't hurt to even throw in some social media trending stuff every now and then, because it's hot. And no matter what industry you're in right now or what business, social media is affecting your business. So this is just some ideas here, but a lot of things out there that you can pull from. I would say keep a file so that you always have something to write about. I have a notebook and I'll get an idea and I write it down and then I write it again. And generally, when I'm going to write original content, it's not every day. It's not, I have to sit down and get in that creative thinking and process, maybe on a Saturday or a Sunday when I'm relaxed and I can just have fun with it. I'm getting to express who I am and what I'm passionate about. So keyword research. When people search for information on a topic, they are going to enter these keywords and phrases, like I talked about earlier, into like the search engines, Google. They're going to say, this is what I'm looking for. And you've probably done it before. Hey, I'd like a TV, or I'm shopping for this, or a book. So whatever those words and phrases are, they're known as keywords. So incorporating these keywords used by your target audience, remember, will increase the likelihood that your audience will find you and your content in the search engines. So keyword research involves brainstorming the types of keywords your target market is using to find the information that you're writing about. Now, there's a couple of different tools here that can help you find the relevant keywords. And I have them listed here. The first one is Aaron Wall's SEO Keyword Tool, Word Tracker, and then Google Keyword Tool. I tend to just type in Google Keyword Tool, and that's the one I use most frequently. And you put in your keyword that you're thinking about, and just tons of different related keywords will come up and give you ideas around that subject matter. So what makes a good keyword or phrase? Multi-word, at least 2 to 3 or more. Single keywords are really difficult to rank for. So let me just give you an example. If you just wanted to put money in, I mean, can you imagine how competitive that keyword is? It's highly competitive. Your chances of you ever ranking for that are slim to none. So you want to do something a little bit longer, like how to make money using a blog or something like that. I don't know, just giving off the top of my head here. But the more specific the keyword, the more targeted the traffic. So here's an example. If you're selling a product or service, you could use bywords like purchase cell phone, something to that effect. So that's a little bit longer than just putting in cell phone. And then you would have a better chance of possibly ranking for that keyword. Now, developing compelling headlines. This is really pretty key. And I'll be honest, when I'm looking at different blog sites and content on a daily basis, it's all about the headline. Whether or not I'm going to click on that and read it, it depends on what the headline is. So this is really the first interaction people have with your content is the headline. So you want to attract them. You don't want them, running the other way, repelling them. The good headlines tap into emotions and needs, and it conveys the benefits of reading the article. So they can see instantly, lose 10 pounds in time for the wedding. Well, that gives me a pretty good idea of what I'm going to be reading, right? The number one tip for generating massive website traffic. Make more money with these simple steps. These are attention-grabbing headlines, and people have an idea of how they're going to benefit. Now, types of headlines that get your attention, there's different types. One is known as direct, trim 20% of your mortgage payment. I mean, they're telling you exactly what you're going to know about, right? Then you've got an instructional type of headline, and you see a lot of these. I call them how-to. So how to buy a home with no down payment, how to do this, how to do that. And these are instructional type headlines. You can always ask a question. Do you have the millionaire gene? You can do a command. Use this to get to the top of Google. You're telling them exactly what they need to do. You can also use a testimonial. I get my social media tips from stacykenny.com, says Kate Middleton. So these are just different ways to use different types of headlines. It's direct, instructional, question, command, or testimonial. It takes a while before you get the hang of writing good headlines. It really is something you have to experiment with. And like I said, for me, I've learned more and more just from being out here and reading and being exposed to different types of blog sites and kind of learning and watching what other people do as well. Tips for article writing. Well, first you want to determine, what is the purpose of this article, right? Are you looking to sell something? Are you looking to disseminate the information? Are you looking to persuade? What is the point of the article? And then write a headline, but don't be afraid to change it. That's the beautiful thing about this is you can make changes. For that matter, you could write an article, put it on your blog, and change it 2 weeks later if you want, and update it and freshen up that article. That's what's really cool about having this control and creative, access to your blog. You can start with an outline of ideas that you want to convey, and that's going to make writing the article easier. So maybe you're sitting here going, oh, I have this great topic, and then you just kind of write it out. and it's all kind of looks like mush to you. But then that's when you can start breaking up these ideas into short paragraphs. So then this way you can fight the reader fatigue. Now, there's different types of article templates that you can use to help you with this. If you're not really experienced or you haven't written many articles, you can do lists, question and answer, tutorial, how-to type things. I can tell you one thing, people love lists. I think that's always a lot of fun, or like checklist type things as well. But you can find some article templates on the eZine, or eZine they call it, eZine Articles blog. So if you go to http://blog.ezinearticles.com, then you're going to find some templates that will help you with this process. Now, it's very important that you always try to end the article with a call to action of some kind. And then maybe you don't have to do it every time, but a lot of times I try to give a call to action on my own personal blog. Contact me for a free consultation. Contact me to learn more about this social media thing or whatever it is, that kind of thing. So I'm trying to get them to take action. Click that Contact Stacy button right there at the top. That is the goal, as I'm trying to convert, leads to prospects to sales and to potential business partners to work with. Now, when it comes to article SEO, which we talked about, I said is just nothing more than the search engine optimization. This is how your articles will get found by the search engines. You want to include your main keyword in the title of your article. So really, that's the key here, is in your title, and then it's going to be throughout your article as well. Now, some of this might be over the heads of the new people. Don't worry, okay? And the great thing about being a part of my branding system is we have a phenomenal tool that can help you do this exactly. So you don't have to be an expert or technical in this, but you can actually get higher rankings. You can use what we have there. So you can include the keywords in your article headers. They're called header tags, H1, H2, and H3. And this is just a way that Google can read these header tags and these keywords and their algorithms and all that technical stuff I don't want to get into, but and some of it, I'll be honest, I don't even know, and I don't care to know. I just know how to do it and make it work, and that's what's important. And that's why just for me, what is offered at my branding system is phenomenal, because it's just like, do this to this, and I'm like, okay, great, and it works. The keywords in the title and header tags are given more weight by search engine robots. A keyword should appear in the first and last sentence of an article if possible. The keyword density should be between 2 to 5%. Anything more than 7% will be considered keyword spamming by the search engines. Now, I want, for those of you that are affiliated with my branding system, because you have the tool and the checklist there to help you optimize your articles, but it's going to tell you what your keyword density is. But just remember this, don't go over the 5%. And it's going to help you with all this other stuff, so don't worry. That's the beauty of it. But a good article length is about 400, maybe to 500 words. I'd say more, maybe closer to 500. It gives enough space to provide good information, but not too much to give everything away. You want to keep your readers coming back for more. It's all about providing value and educating, but of course, you're trying to do a little bit more than that. And ultimately, you're trying to convert sales. Include links to other related content. That's going to be very helpful to your readers. And include keyword and image description. Once again, it's a checklist in your back office of my branding system, so don't worry, guys. It's really simple. But for those of you that aren't affiliated, then just remember that these are all very important things that you're going to want to do when you're writing articles, if you are concerned about being found and optimized and ranking high in Google. I mean, some of you may not be, and that's okay too. Maybe you just want to have an online presence and look really cool to your social network and provide value, and the keywords, it's not a big deal. And that's your personal preference, I'll be honest. And as a brand new person, I wouldn't try to do it all. It's like building a house. It's one brick at a time, guys. I didn't get where I am overnight, and I certainly don't expect any of you to be there. Just know that it's a process. And especially with my branding system, we're going to take you down that road and show you exactly how to get to where some of us are that are more advanced. Now, here's an example of an article when we were talking about the tags, where you're probably going, what in the world is this? Okay. Well, here it is right here. The H2 tag, H1, you've got another header 2, and you could make them header 1, header 2, header 3, but this is just how this one was optimized. And actually, when you go to do this in the back office of your system and your blog site, then generally the header tags, if you look at the different sizes here, that's the header 1 is usually the biggest, and so forth. So now you've optimized them, and this is how it might look, you know, as an example. Now, using articles from directories is a great way to start, and some of the great places you can get ready-made content for your site. Your blog should primarily consist of original content, but these articles can fill in for you when you're short on time or ideas. Or, like I say, if you're just starting out and beginning this process, don't worry about it. Don't feel like you have to be a writer and do all of this. And that's the great thing about my branding system, is we have some of these services already in there to give you content to get started with. You know, it's just about learning the mechanics and keeping it simple. And then when you're ready, like I said, it's really, I want to say it's baby steps, and it really is. But it's simple if you just try not to do it too fast or overwhelm yourself. The rules for using content from article directories is basically you have to use it in its entirety. So you can't make any changes to it whatsoever. A lot of times these articles will have an author's bio, and you have to post that as well. A lot of times they have links, and that's why they're allowing you to use their content and be a guest blogger on your site, I guess you would say, is because this links back to their blog or something. So you want to make sure that you're okay with that, but you have to leave it in its entirety. Now, the thing you can do is you can actually add something at the end. You can put your call to action. If you wanted to add a little video and say, hey, this is a great article, these cool tips today, blah, 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 then you could do that and personalize that article even though it's someone else's content. So that's another little quick tip. But like I said, check the links, make sure they don't take you to a crazy place. I'm not crazy about sales pages or anything like that. And as I already said, your own call to action. The content should definitely be in line with your brand image, your message, you know, what it is that you're putting out on a regular basis. Like, you can't be over here talking all about social media, and then one day you're talking about this real estate thing, and now you're talking about investing in gold, and then you're over here talking about, you know, you've got to be consistent. So you want people to know you for, you know, your brand and what you are, what you stand for. Article directories for content. Here's a list on here. Easing articles, which I stated earlier, ArticleBase, Go Articles, Article Dashboard, Articles Factory. I'm not going to sit here and read them all off. You can basically just put in keywords to find articles, like article directory, reprint articles, free reprint articles, and you can find a lot of these. Now, for you guys that are my branding system, you don't even have to worry, because you've got where it just drops right into your back office and it pulls from the different directories. So that's one of the sweet things that I love about it. But and I will repost this as a blog post and put a lot of different resources and links to make it easier for you guys to get back to. So I'll have that out hopefully in a few days. Guest bloggers. Now that's another way. I've built relationships through Twitter and different people in the community where sometimes we actually blog on each other's sites. And so I have people come on as guest bloggers, and it's good for them because then it connects back to their blog, it gives them exposure, and vice versa. If I have people that are guest blogging for me, well, that fills a hole, that fills a need. That's one less post that I need to worry about, you know, that week. You can get content, you know, from anybody in your industry and really increase the value of your website, which also extends the reach of your brand. I have a friend of mine who writes for me every now and then on my blog, and he writes really great stuff, and I get a lot of traffic from it. I send it out on Twitter, and my following just seems to really like it. It gets retweeted, it gets, you know, turned around, and then of course when they go to it and click, it gives him, you know, recognition as well, and they can go back to his blog. So it's something I wanted to do to help him, and he's helping me. You can identify experts that provide relevant information. Like I said, real estate agents, maybe they have a mortgage expert post on the topic of home loans. And that's a really good example too, because when you think about it, if you're talking about real estate and giving tips and this, that, and the other, now you don't want to try to be the mortgage expert as well, but you can have someone come on and post this very vital information to your industry, and they can be the mortgage expert and vice versa. So you could do that on their blog as well. Be professional when you approach people to contribute to your blog. Remember, they're doing you a favor for free. Be a good host and promote your guest author. And that's what you want to do. Like when my friend comes on and blogs, I make sure I get it out there. I want people promoting that. I want to give him, recognition and help him. Using PLR articles. Now, what are these? Private label rights articles is content written by freelance writers who then sell reprint rights. Okay, now this you'll see out there, it's very inexpensive. It's like usually $1 per article. The writer makes money by selling the same articles over and over again to other people. So I really want you to understand what this is. If you hear about it and think that you're going to buy it and, oh, this is like the greatest thing since sliced bread, I can go put my name on these articles. But I really just want you to understand it completely. It says you can usually, you can use the content however you want, but you can't resell or redistribute it, okay? Really, my recommendation on this is it's best to rewrite the content so that it is at least 50% unique so that you avoid duplicate content from the search engines. Now, once again, I was speaking to a colleague earlier today, and I said, as long as you're aware, if you don't care, and let's say you just want to get some stuff out with your name on it to your social media influence and you're just getting started and get your name, then maybe you just want to slap your name on it and do it. But it's not going to get you ranked in the search engines because it's duplicate, really. But that's okay because maybe that is okay with you. As long as you know that, fine, go right ahead. But what I recommend is that you rewrite it in your own words, and then that's going to make it more original, for you. If you want to submit to article directories, it has to be rewritten completely. They will definitely knock you out. They know how to tell if it's duplicate content. But for most of you, you're not even there yet, so don't worry. Make sure it's optimized for your keywords, and don't forget to use your call of action at the end. Always source your articles and writers to be certain you're not getting stolen content. Now, I've seen some of this happen out there as well. People are selling these PLR articles, but they really didn't have the right to sell them. So you got to be careful where you're getting that information. Now, one thing I do like about PLR articles is just sometimes there's some really great ideas. When you're stumped with what to write, you can get some good ideas from this. So where would you get PLR content? Here are some sites that you can get sourced directly from freelance writers. There's freelancer.com, there's guru.com, and elance.com. You can also find, and this is kind of cool, what I call gig websites. Now, Fiverr.com is kind of interesting. It's a site, it's a fun site, I think, because it's a site where it's what people will do for $5. Okay, so there's all kinds of crazy stuff on there that they'll do for $5. So you might just want to hop around on there and check it out. And you might be able to find some articles on there, but you can definitely find some nifty stuff and possible outsourcing for your needs. There's gopher.com, 10bucks.com. You can even look for independent writers here, like there's Easy, PLR, just all these different resources out there. But once again, you can go out and use the keywords to find this when you're searching the internet. PLR articles, PLR content, private label rights articles. And then you can find some of these different sites. But as long as you're aware of what this is and how it's used, that's all I wanted to get across to make sure that you understood that tonight. And then also the legalities of using content, because I have seen and worked with some people that really just didn't know, but it is not okay to take content from other people's website and use it on your website without their permission. Content is copyrighted the moment it's created, and it is subject to copyright laws regarding usage. Guys, think about it when you were in school, plagiarizing, people, it's not accepted, and it's not accepted online either. You cannot take other people's content. Okay. Another option is you can summarize an article and link it back to the source. Now, most people will let you use their content if you ask them. I know that I work with a handful of people at my branding system where we will do that. We'll actually share different posts, or I say, oh, wow, I love that article. Can I repost it on my blog? And I will. I'll post it and then link it back over to their blog. But, you definitely want to ask permission. You can use other people's content under the fair use clause. And you can reprint a small portion of an article and link it back to the source, which I'm going to show you an example in just a second. But also, wanted to give you a couple of tips on finding free images for your articles. You can find some of these on public domain image sources like publicdomainpictures.net and photos8.com. You could also look and do a search on Google search for free pictures, royalty-free pictures and things like that you might be able to use. Now, here is the example that I wanted to show you, because this says, I found this great article on Facebook offering daily deals similar to Groupon. And so this was actually an example of a post that I made, but let's say you guys wanted to use this. And then here's just a quick little thing. It says, everybody loves saving money and getting the best daily deals. So this was like a paragraph from my article. And then as you can see, it links and says, read the rest of the article on stacykinney.com. Well, you could do something like this as an example, maybe from Forbes or Mashable, Social Media Day, some publication. Maybe it's a hot article topic that you like and you feel like you'd want to share this with your readers. And so you could do something like this as long as you presented it in this type of format, and then you put it over back to that blog. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, if you've got people coming to your blog, they're subscribing to it because they like your message, your brand, and what you're putting out and the information, then they can get all the information they need in one place. And Huffington Post, which you might want to check out, is a good example. Now, they have a lot of writers now, but in the beginning, I noticed, what in the world was going on? Because they were really just reposting from other sites. So they're a good example of doing just this, but they have a huge readership. Because once again, these people can subscribe to Huffington Post and get all the information they need to whatever topic and subject in one place. So I just want to make sure that you know how to do this the legal way. And we're just about to wrap up here, guys. Article tools, just a few things I want to share with you. With SEO Pressor is for optimizing your articles for keywords. This is what we actually use at my branding system. Awesome. I love it. Just made life easier with the little checklist and how to do that. You can also use Aaron Wall's SEO keyword tool for researching keyword tools. Ezine, I always say that wrong, sorry, has article templates on their blog. Copyblogger.com. I recommend that as a source. Maybe subscribe, because it is a great blog for learning how to write that compelling content for your blog. You can pull articles from ArticleBase directly to your blog using WP Robot. If you're not using my branding system, that's something that we do, as well as another service. Once again, that's why I'm a big proponent of my branding system, because much of the things that I'm sharing with you and showing you, it's integrated into our system, which just makes my life a lot simpler, and I don't have to spend nearly the amount of time that I used to on my blog site. So just a lot of great things. And ping.fm is great for bookmarking articles to multiple sites. Ping.fm. So if you want to go out and bookmark, for some of you that are new, please don't even worry about that. But for the more advanced people, I like to share some of those tips as well. And guys, that's it for tonight. I hope you found that to be packed full of information. I always like to end on this slide, because when it comes to building your brand and your presence online, it's important, how you project yourself. And I think every step you take in life is going to leave that lasting impression. I put some of these words up here because this is what I'm trying to project. This is the person I strive to be, that I want to be. And so just be very cognizant about what you're doing, and everything that you post on social media and online, it stays out there forever, guys. So really be conscious about what you're doing. And you can always reach me at stacykinney.com. Again, it was brought to you by my branding system, which is just a phenomenal program I'm excited to be a part of. And If you need anything at all, just contact me at staceykinney.com. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you next month.